we can put it up on the team site.
Sure.
For other people. I'll also be. I have notes that I am using today. I will be translating those notes into something a little bit more understandable, and I'll post those up on the team site as well. So let's get started. Firstly, what is Teams? Teams is a Microsoft product. Some of you may be familiar with it and have been using it in your own water authority, and it's a collaboration application that allows you to hold conversations, share documents, share working environments, and it's based around the product called Microsoft Teams, but also Microsoft SharePoint and OneDrive. SharePoint acts as the repository for all of the information that's actually made available in Teams. Now, how do you get into it? There are actually 4 ways you can access Teams. And one of the things you'll notice as we go through is that there are multiple ways of doing everything in Teams and SharePoint. There are multiple ways of doing the same thing, which is quite handy in case you forget one. So the 4 ways you can access Teams through a Windows application, Teams, and that's generally located once you have it installed. It's located on your menu bar at the bottom right-hand side. You can go in through a web connection, a mobile phone application, which you can download and load on your phone, or you can come at it from the IWN Sharepoint site. And that's what we're going to do today to make it easy. Now, I'm going to disappear and share my desktop with you because I want to make this as realistic as possible so you can see exactly what's been done and work within the IWN environment. So I'll just share my desktop. Now, I won't be able to see you all. Okay. One second, I think I'm actually in the wrong thing here. Right. I'm now on the IWN SharePoint site. This is effectively a knowledge, for those that have used Knowledge Hub, it's a replication of the Knowledge Hub environment. So it contains all of the documentation.
Sorry to interrupt, Pete.
Yeah.
I think your screen is still showing the Microsoft Teams page.
Is it?
Yeah, and I think what you might be wanting to show us is the SharePoint.
Yep. Okay, thanks, Dean. I'll try that again. You got it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, thanks for that. It's hard to see what you're seeing because I'm just seeing my my screen. Okay, so how do we get in there? So one of the things you'll notice is that we have the IWN programs, and by selecting a program, I can now open up the menu, which allows me to look at Teams. And if you look over the left-hand side in the menu, you'll see a little pointer to Teams. If I click that, it will take me across into our Teams environment. You seeing the Teams, Dean?
Yep, you can see the teams.
Okay, excellent.
But not the individual teams. So it looked like you clicked on the web app.
Yep.
But we haven't got the detail of that yet.
Okay. I'll come back into it. I'll reshare again just to make sure.
Peter, when you're sharing your screen, if you click share desktop, when you swap windows, it'll share. We'll see where you go instead of having to stop sharing and start sharing again.
Oh, okay.
Well done, Lucy. You're picking up all these tips and tricks of the trade as we go.
There's actually a lot of content in Teams, and I'm just looking at the options. I don't have the share desktop option. I only have the share content. So
it's usually on the far left.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, someone else is sharing. Okay. Do we have it now, Dean? Or
Yep.
Lucy?
So yep. You can see the
Got it
Teams
all?
page
Okay,
now.
excellent. Okay. So now we're in the Teams environment. Now, some of you may be very familiar with this, some may not. It's a very intuitive place, and it's very friendly in terms of having a look at various things. So we'll just have a quick look around the environment and see what we have. Excuse me. So at the top of the menu bar, we have a search capability. So you want to look for something or someone. Over here we have your login, whoever you're logged in as. I'm logged in as me. I have an IWN account at the moment, which I'm using, and allows me to do a number of things. I can set my status message to say that I'm available or I'm not available. It tells me that I'm presenting at the moment. I can look at anything that I've saved, conversations, those sorts of things. Set up the settings to configure how my environment looks. Check for updates and download the mobile app should I want to go and use the mobile when I'm away. Also, I can sign out from here, obviously. Standard things. Now, if I go across the left-hand side, you'll see that I have different activities. I can select an activity that's going on. One of the things that happens with Teams is when you do things, depending on whether you nominate them to be posted, they will actually post within the activities, and you can see a constant stream of exactly what's going on within Teams. I can hold chats with individuals one-on-one. We have our teams. This is just a quick run through. We'll be going through each of these things individually as we go through. These are our teams. There is a limitation to the number of teams we can have at the moment, but Microsoft are working on extending that. Within our teams, we have things called channels, which are, if you think of the team as the program of work and the channel as the individual projects within that program, that's the best way to think of it. Teams is very tightly integrated with Microsoft Office. So you have things like Word, and Excel and OneNote and all those applications. Also, it ties in with Outlook and Exchange. So you can have your calendar here. You can make calls. You can make video calls. You can make voice calls. Set up voicemail, and we have our files. Now these files, there's two types of files, and you need to be careful how you handle your files. You'll have your private files, which will be in OneDrive, which you generally wouldn't make available within the Teams environment and share them unless they were part of what you're working on within your program or project. And that's here. These files here are actually stored on SharePoint, and these are shared files, so everybody can see them. I also have the option of adding different applications to my environment, so you can personalize your environment quite rapidly. As I said, they have quite a number of applications that are available. Some of these you might have to pay for, but others they're free. But they all do different things. They all have connectors. You can see here the different range of things you look at. I can also look at the apps down here. Now, remember I said there were multiple ways of doing things within Teams to achieving the same outcome. I've got help, and then down here I've got my download the mobile application again. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have a very quick look at a team, and we'll show you the menu there. Edge Technologies. So team channels. Yeah. So when you create a team in Teams, it will create all of the documentation and platform components necessary within SharePoint and OneDrive to support your team in Teams. But it also creates what's called a general channel, and that's consistent. And it will put a number of these tabs inside that. Now, the first three, you shouldn't delete. You can't delete, you shouldn't delete, or even try to delete, because they're consistent. So you'll see here these tabs contain different things. Posts is where you can have conversations with the team members or the channel members. Files are the files relative to the channel that you're in. Wiki is a little bit like a help screen. It's like a document. It has pages and sections. So you can create a table of contents. You can use it as a help thing if you want to put in information or have conversations about particular subjects. You can do it in the wiki space. Notebook takes us directly to OneNote. Now, what we've done is when we've set this environment up, is that we have created a OneNote notebook for every channel that we've created, and it's there. You can just put it in. Notebook is not part of this training course, obviously. We're just looking at Teams at the moment, and SharePoint, and you can actually look at what's contained in the SharePoint, the IWN SharePoint for this application for this channel, but it's displayed in Teams and not SharePoint. So if you wanted to change anything in any of this, you would have to go to SharePoint to do that, because this is just a link in to show you. So, but you can operate through it as you wish. Now you can also add new tabs, and it will offer you any number of tabs. Now you'll see a lot of Microsoft product up here. That's, as I said, it's very tightly integrated with Office 365. It shares a lot of information very easily, and you can add any number of these tabs to your channel. So if you're responsible for managing a channel, you can set up whatever tabs you like. If you want to show spreadsheets that you've done, you can add the spreadsheet tab in and then put spreadsheets in as well. So effectively, tabs contain applications, or what we call connectors. Now, what are connectors? Connectors are a gateway to cloud services that teams can interact with. And when I added the connectors up here, these are some of the connectors that we can add. Now, some of them are applications, and they will come up straight as applications, but others will come up and ask you to connect and then provide the service to you. So something like a podcast is a connector. If you want to link to GitHub or Trello, they're connectors as well. Now, connectors provide access to applications, but one thing you should note is that if you create a connector and you leave the team, the link to that connector will be broken, because the connection is related to your team membership. So if the person who's responsible for creating the connections leaves, all those connections have to be re-established again by someone who's still a team member. That's not something that's generally known. It's a handy one to remember in case things stop working after someone leaves. Now, every channel has a separate posts, and I'll show you one down here in drones. Has posts. All right, I'm in posts now. So everyone has posts, and this is where all conversations are managed through the environment. Two ways to have conversations. One is a team conversation, team/channel conversation, and the other one is a one-on-one individual conversation, which is done in the chat environment. Now, one of the things that it does is if it runs out of space up the top up here in the top menu bar, where you can see my cursor, it will say that there are 4 more. You click on the down arrow and it will open up and show you what else is in there. We've seen those before. Now, do remember, conversations that you have in posts are public and are available to all team members. Now, if we have a look at the Files tab, this tab is where the documents and other files are uploaded for all team members to collaborate with. As I said, we don't recommend storing personal files here because they are available to all team members. And you open them just by clicking on the folder. Now, one of the things we did when we created this environment was for every channel, we created a OneNote notebook and a files page. And to move up and down through it, we're in Documents at the moment. It's very similar to other Microsoft products. Just click on the one before and it'll take you back up. We'll just see if I can find one with some files in it. There we go. And if you click on it and open up the file, it will create the file for you so you can see that. Up at the top left-hand corner, the back arrows, the backward forward arrows, which move you around. Now in Files, I can upload files, I can create a new file or a folder, and then I can create any of this type of files that Microsoft supports. So Excel, Workbook, Forms, Word document, and that will be stored in, if I create a folder, drill down into that folder, then create a new file, new Word document, it will be stored within that new folder that we've just created. I can also download files from the site down onto my PC if necessary. Okay, so let's have a look at teams, channels, and content. So over here, we're in our teams. Managing teams is a critical part of the collaboration process. A team within IWN, as I said before, is basically a program of work. And within that program, there are a number of channels which represent projects. Each team has members who participate in the activities and sharing of knowledge and information. So to create a team, you can create, if you have the admin privileges, which most of you do, you can create new teams. But there are a couple of things before we go ahead and create a team. There are some things you need to be aware of. You need to have clearly identified what the program is going to be called, what the program's about, because the first things we're going to do is give it a name and give it a description to help people who are looking for it or to want to understand what the team is about. They can understand it. You need to know who is going to be in the team. You also need to know whether it's going to be a private team, a public team, or a global team. And you'll see the definitions of what that means shortly. And you need to understand basically what initial channels, projects need to be created within that team. So let's go ahead and create a new team. Down the bottom left at the Teams menu is Join or Create a Team. If we click on that, we'll be given the option of creating a team, joining a team with a code, and join a public team that already exists. So we're going to create a team. Click the team, and we want to build it from scratch. So we'll build it from scratch. Now this is where we need to know whether it's going to be private, public, or organisation-wide. Private means, as it says there, that people need permission to join the team. They don't just join it automatically. Public means that anyone in your organisation, anyone in IWN can join a team. And that's where you say, you ask back in the previous screen to join a public team. Organisation-wide means that as soon as you create this team, everyone will automatically join it. So you'll have the entire thing. So typically we would say at this stage we'll call it a public team. Give your team a name. We'll call it Dean's team. And a description. And create. Now what Teams is doing at the moment is it's building up the infrastructure within itself for the team, but also creating the SharePoint environment for the files and the content back in SharePoint for us. Now we want to add some members to Dean's team. As soon as you start typing, it'll look for the people that are there. So we'll put Lucy in there. Let's put Rod Curtis in there. And we'll leave that as that at the moment. Now they're members. Close that. We can add more members at any time by going in and managing the team and adding new members. So now we've got Dean's team down the bottom, and that's created the general channel for us with the 3 tabs that it creates for each file: the posts, the files, and the wiki. And if you have a look inside there, they'll obviously be empty because we haven't put anything in there yet. But the containers are already created in SharePoint to hold the information that we will put in. And in fact, in a little while, we'll actually do some uploading and we'll put that in. Okay, so now we have Dean's team. That's how easy it is to create a team. So now we're going to go on and we're going to add some channels to the team. 2 ways to do this. One is you can click the ellipse to the right, and you see under my cursor. Then I can select Manage Team, or I can put my cursor over the team, right mouse click, and I'll get the same effect. So I'm going to manage the team or add a channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a channel. Again, you need to know some things. So we're going to call this thing channel name water saving options. Description, saving. Now, privacy is very important. You can make it a private channel, and you nominate a specific group of people or specific individuals who can access it, or standard. In this case, we'll make it accessible to everybody on the team because we're. Hang on a second, where'd that go? Let's do it again. Managed to close it off without. Standard. Automatically show this in everyone's channel list, so it'll come up with everybody can see it, and add. Now if we open up Dean's team, we've now got 2 channels: water protection options and general. And again, we've got the 3 tabs at the top of the page: posts, files, and wiki, which it automatically creates for us. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're ready to start doing a little bit of work with our channel. So we want to give it a little bit more capability. We want to add some tabs. We'll add a new tab to our channel here. So if we click the Add tab, and we want to, let's say it's SharePoint. So we're going to add a SharePoint viewer. So click SharePoint. And Home, which is a system account, and Save. Okay, we can rename that. So we'll rename it, we'll call it SharePoint. And save. SharePoint. Okay, so now you can see in the posts that it's told us that I've just created a new channel, a new tab at the top of this channel. And that's what the posts are, the conversations. So the posts are telling you what's happening within the channel. All right. So you can see who's doing what. And it appeared there because I remember I ticked that box that said posted in channel, post the advice. That's why it did that. Okay, you also see now that it's hiding there at SharePoint. Right. Now, if you make a mistake or you no longer need a channel, there's two ways to do something. Okay, first one is Teams will only allow you to have a certain number of active channels at any one time. And I think the number at the moment is around 10 at the moment. That's going to increase. But you can have any number of hidden channels. Now, hidden channels doesn't mean you can't see them. It just means they're not visible when you first come in. So if I go here and say water protection options, and I say click the right hide button, it will put it into a directory called hidden. All right, so it says there one hidden channel, and if I open the button, it says Dean's team water protection options, and I've got the option of showing it back again. So I'll give you an example where you would use this. If I come up here to pipeline intelligence, and this is one that I actually did the migration for, you'll see all of these projects or channels. Now, Dean, can you see all of those?
Yep, I can see all of them except when you went 50? To the bottom, when you went right down, scroll down, yep. It said that there was 4 hidden channels.
4 hidden channels, okay. Yep. So normally that it gets a little bit tense when we have so many. So all we do is we take them out, we just click on them and hide them, and they turn up in the hidden channel. So they're still there, still available for you to look at, still available to work within if you want, and you can unhide them as well as show them again, as I've said. We just move things around. It makes it easier so that when you open up your team, you don't have this sort of effect where you've got all of these channels visible straight away. It makes it easier to get to what you're looking for. So down here, I've got one hidden channel, Dean's team, water protection. I'll show it back up again because that's what I want to do. Now, if I decide that I've created this channel in error and I shouldn't have done that, I can delete it. Now, this is going to do what's called a soft delete. Now, what that means is, excuse me, it doesn't actually delete it. It removes it from the environment, but stores it somewhere else. And that's a protection because at some stage you may say, oh, I've deleted the wrong one. I've got 15 years of information in there that I need and I want to get it back. You have 30 days. It'll hold it for 30 days in the soft delete area in Azure Active Directory. During that 30 days, you can recover it. And I'll show you how to do that. So we'll delete the team first, the channel first of all. So again, click the ellipse, delete this channel. It will prompt me to make sure that I would want to know what I'm doing, which I like to think I do. I'll say delete. And it's gone. Okay, so having done that and suddenly realizing, oh, shouldn't have done that. So we'll select the team, select the ellipse, I want it back. So select the ellipse, select manage team. Now, if we go across the top menu here, we have a whole range of things we can do to manage the team. I'll go to channels and it will tell me that I have one deleted channel here. So I have one active channel, which is the general channel, and I have one deleted channel. So if I click the little arrow to the left of that, and I can click the restore, go to the right hand side and click restore. it will bring it back for me. And if I open Dean's team again, one hidden channel, and I can show it. That channel back. As I said, when you delete, we can also delete a team. Now, deleting teams is quite significant because there are other protections around team deletion that require administrator access. The same principle applies. It's a 30-day soft delete. So if I delete Dean's team, I've got 30 days to have it recovered. And it can take up to 24 hours to get it back because it's a more significant piece of work. So you need to be very careful when you're pressing the delete buttons, because although we can recover it, it does take time. So if I want to delete Dean's team, click the ellipse, delete the team, delete Dean's team. I understand that everything will be deleted. Yes, I can acknowledge that. And delete the team. And it's gone. Now, it's gone, but it hasn't gone. It's sitting in the Azure Active Directory, and it'll sit there for 30 days, the same as the channel. It can be restored using a thing called PowerShell, which is why we need to have the administrator, system administrator, manage that. So if you accidentally delete your team, you need to get in touch with the nominated administrator, and we'll arrange for it to be recovered. And as I said, it can take up to 24 hours to come back. Okay. At this point, I'll ask, we're running a little bit ahead of time, which is great. I'll ask if there are any questions about what we've covered off so far.
Peter, I've just been notified the chat function has been disabled. I don't think I got a message from Lou. I'm not sure if that's the experience with everyone else, if they can use chat. I'm just wondering, because I sent the meeting out, so do I need to change something? Oh no, Corey can use the chat.
Oh, this is on the meeting chat?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems like a few people can. Maybe it was...
Yeah, one second here.
Is Lou still online? I'm not sure, he might have gone. I think he's gone. That's okay. If others can use the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like they can.
Yeah, it might have just been the Lou's machine that was having the difficulty with it.
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay. No other questions?
I think you might have a couple, Peter. I can see a few hands up. Is Michael Welk had your hand up?
I was just wondering with deleting files, so even with Golden Valley Water, I don't really know, are those if you delete a file, is it also available to be recovered within 30 days? And what other protections do we have? Because we don't like to lose files.
Yeah. One of the things with recovering of files is that we're doing backups for IWN, and they're done twice daily. If you delete a file, we can actually recover it from the backup itself. But normally, if you delete a file, that's it. That's not the soft delete that you have with within Teams for channels and teams. But we can recover because we do complete backups, as I said, twice a day. So we can do a complete system recovery, or we can do an individual file recovery if necessary.
Then Amrit, you had a question?
Yes, I have. What will happen if owner leaves the team and without making any members the owner? So it will just transfer the ownership, or we have to do anything?
Normally another member would need to be nominated as an owner. If the owner leaves the team, normally at that stage a person would need to be nominated straight away. It will ask you for that. But normally what we would recommend is that you would have more than one owner in a team. Just means that and that gets to the permissions on what people can do in terms of managing the team. 1 second. Okay, so as you see here, we've just gone to manage the team environment, and I'm looking at the members, and you can see that at the moment, Pipeline Intelligence, I'm listed as an owner, IT Admin's an owner, Dean Barnett's an owner, and Lucy's an owner. And if you click there, you can just say dominate with their owner or member, and it's that easy. That's that easy to do.
Thank you.
Right.
Any other questions? Then when you're looking at these folders, just for the group's benefit, they've been populated from Knowledge Hub, M files, and also anyone who had any personal files in relation to programs have also been included in these folders.
Yep. So if we go and look at, again, look at Pipeline Intelligence, walk up to Fibre Sensing, we go and look at the files. The documents. These were the files that were brought across from Knowledge Hub and M files. So you can see that we've managed to get everything that was there. Including videos. Okay, well, if no more questions, we'll continue on. So one of the good things about the Teams environment is, as I said at the start, it's a collaboration environment. So it allows you to interact with members of your team, members of other teams, and you can do that in various ways. The way we're doing it at the moment in video call, and there are some nice little functions that are available within a video call as well, which are fairly new. One is the gallery. So we've got 32 people here, or 31 now. You can actually set them up. So instead of seeing them in little boxes on the screen, across the screen, you can sit them in an auditorium, one beside each other and behind each other in rows. So it looks like you're talking to an auditorium. Or you can sit them around a table. You've got different options there, but that's just a little bit of candy. You can also change the background. So if you're sitting in the kitchen, you can set up the background to be at the beach, and it just looks like you're at the beach. So just different little things that make it interesting. So we're now going to talk about chat. Now, chatting and contributing to conversations. Conversations occur within team channels and are visible to all team members. Now, this is interesting to note that conversations fall into that thing, and they're located in the Posts tab. So if you want to see the conversations, they're in the Post tabs. All team members may contribute to conversations. So they're not basically, you're not having a conversation one-on-one at this stage. We're talking about conversations. It's a general public thing that's available. By mentioning a team member, a channel or a team, it will result in that person or that channel or that team receiving a notification that they have been mentioned in a conversation. So, you sort of can't talk about Dean behind his back because he'll know, because he'll be told you're talking about him. Now, what we can do here is we can have a conversation. We'll start a new chat, and I want to talk to Dean. As soon as I start typing, it will do the same thing that Microsoft does. Give me a thing. So I want to talk to Dean. And down the bottom, I type in my message. Now, I've mentioned Lucy there. Now, Lucy, you didn't receive a notification that you were mentioned, did you?
No.
No. Okay. For that to happen, what I need to do is put the little symbol like that there. How do you spell your surname, Lucy? G-A-Y?
Yeah, that's it. L-A-R-D. It's not coming up though, which is weird.
Oh, it didn't do that.
Maybe there's no space?
Yeah, I'll try it. Now, one of the other things that we have within these chats, and you'll notice that I'm actually chatting one-on-one with Dean at the moment. So technically, Lucy should have received a notification that she's been mentioned in the chat, but it's not available to anybody else. Now, the other thing with these chats is that we have all the nice little things you have from social media as well. So you can do things like use emojis, GIFs, stickers, you know, all those fun things, schedule a meeting. So if you wanted to say, well, not very happy, oh, that one will do, not very happy with that, same sort of, you can see it coming up. So if I go to Teams and I go down to the team, I go in here and I'll start a conversation. Everybody in this team should receive this conversation. As you'll see, it's posted now in the posts area, and that would be go to everybody that's in that team. Yeah. Now, if I mention a channel and say at, see that it's popped up with that. So that's what it didn't do in the chat, Lucy. It's doing it in the conversation. Now, Floating Solar Trial should be receiving a notification that that's been mentioned in the in that conversation. With Teams, because it's a network, it's a web-based application. It does take sometimes a few moments for things to happen. So, main difference between chat and conversations is chat is generally used for one-on-one conversations or specific groups. So you can invite a number of people, or 3 or 4 people, or a group of people, and you can set up groups within Teams, whereas conversations is generally for a general conversation within a team or a channel or across the organisation. Now, the other thing that I can do is I can save conversations. So I can save this message. right? And that indicates a channel was mentioned, but I can actually hang on a second. Yeah. Okay, so I can actually save conversations and then recall them later in case the conversation gets deleted from a post or over time. Obviously, if you've been running Teams for a number of years, the posts will build up. There's a limit to how much it will store, and we can control those limits, and it will delete the post. But if I save conversations because I think they're significant, then that's very important. One of the things that that chat has as well is, one second, I'll just move that out of the way, is that it has the same type of formatting as we do in Word. So I can actually open up by clicking on the little A icon with the pen, the compose box. It allows me to produce a formatted message as well. If it's a significant conversation that you're going to save for posterity, then you'll probably use that. But it's one of those nice little touches that Microsoft put in just to keep it aligned with the rest. Some things that you may not use, you don't have to use it just because it's there. But I necessarily wouldn't want to. So one of the things we also want to look at now is the sharing and accessing of files. Yeah. So we'll go into Teams. Just move that back over there. Close that off. And we will now we'll go back and very quickly create a team, build a team from scratch. It's public. And add Dean to the team. Okay, so we're in general. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at files. So sharing of information is critical. So if you have a file on your PC, you might want to upload the file. Now, the number of ways of doing this, one is to use obviously the upload button, which is provided for us. And I can bring up files or folders, or I can do a drag and drop. I can actually open up my file explorer and then move to where it is, grab hold of it, hold it, and then drag it over here and drop it, and it will upload it for me. So what I will do is I will upload a file. And I'm actually exposing my personal files here, which please excuse me for doing that. We'll go to IWN. There we go. We'll upload that. So now we've brought the file up and it's in our SharePoint file folder, and I can access that just by, it's a Word document obviously, and I can access it and This is actually an IWN file, which is how to access mailboxes. And it works just as it would in Word. You've got all the same menus and formatting availability. And I'll just go back and close it out. And it's closed out. Now, if I wanted to create a new file, I create a Word document. Dean's file. And you'll see how the very tight integration with the Microsoft suite of products is, in that it just seamlessly moves. And we're still within Teams, as you can see from the menu down the side, we're still within Teams. And we're just going back. And one of the things you'll notice then is there's no save button. As you're building your document, SharePoint and Word are automatically saving it in the name that you created. So if I open that up now, this is Dean's file. Then I can go back and close it out. So we've uploaded a file, and now we've created a file. And if I wanted to create another one, I can create an Excel spreadsheet. Dean's a very busy boy. Or 96. Oops, hang on. 64. 96 equals plus enter. So you can see it works exactly as a spreadsheet, and then again, it's been saved as Dean's spreadsheet. Now just open up again just to confirm that that's done exactly what we said it would do. 160. Okay. The last topic I want to cover is scheduling and attending meetings. There are two forms of meetings in Teams, and this is an important part of the collaboration process. There's an immediate meeting, and there's a scheduled meeting. So if I was to go over to calendar, I have two options at the top right hand side, meet now or new meeting. The new meeting allows me to schedule a meeting, and the meet now means that it will open one straight away for me. So this new meeting works similarly to Microsoft Exchange, Outlook, scheduling a meeting in that. And I can schedule meetings with individuals, with groups, and with teams. So to do a meet now, if I click that, now this is being interesting because we're going to have a meeting within a meeting. It now creates a meeting for me. I can join.
So you can't have two meetings at once.
Exactly. I think there's a lesson in that, and one way of finishing on time.
Yeah.
Just to let everyone know, while Peter's probably rejoining us, is that we're preparing a IWN IT operations manual, so you don't have to try and remember all of this detail. And in relation to the team setup, is that that's been set up for us. So each program has a team with the information from Knowledge Hub, end files. There's a champions team page. And as you're dabbling in there, if you forget something, just yell out and we'll support the building of these teams And what our thinking is that when it comes to running working group meetings and all those sort of things, you'll run it out of your Teams page so that you'll have all that information all in the one spot. Yeah, I'm mindful.
What I'd like to add to it, Dean, is when you run meetings within the team and you can create meetings for the team, the good thing is if you have them recurrent, this means all the files you have in the chat will be available within the meetings notes. So if you always create new meetings, the files you share are not in one location, it's in the individual meetings. If you have, like we have in the mornings with the students, this will be available for everyone for the entire time.
Yeah, perfect. And what I was thinking of is in our leadership meetings, we could do a quick overview of who's doing what. So a lot of the ideas around this, I can't take credit for, was really when Brock showed me his Teams page and all the functionality that he developed. I thought, wow, that looks pretty good. Wouldn't it be great if we could all do that in an IWN environment and we had the tools to support us? So we'll be able to share that information in those sort of forums too. And if we need further training, we can support you with that. And we've also got a IT admin email at IWN, so you can ask any questions through that format too. So I've noticed Peter's hasn't come back and it's 10 o'clock. So if there's no other questions, we could wrap it up there, but feel free to email anything that comes to mind. Oh, you made it back, Pete.
Yeah, I think I might have missed part of what I was doing.
Yeah, that's okay. I was mindful of the time that, well, we had everyone here till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll get the group to ask any questions via email.
Yep.
And we can continually evolve the Teams pages for each program, including the Champions program.
Yeah. What I'll do, Dean, is if you can give me the recording, I'll actually I have a series of notes that I've created to work from. I'll actually put those into a more user-friendly format, because obviously these are my speaking notes, and I'll make those available. We'll create a team, an education team, and in there we'll put a number of channels for covering off the various topics, major topics. And as we create the help, we'll put this recording in there, plus the notes for this recording, because I think you may have missed. Did you get the scheduling and attending meetings?
No, might have to save that for to review in the document.
Okay, I'll put that in the document. Then as we do the videos, we'll be producing videos for each of the items that you want to do, and so it's a rather than having to look through this whole meeting to find it, you can actually go there and see how to create a meeting, how to add upload a document, how to delete a team, how to add a team, and in just short videos with explanatory voiceover, and we'll make those available to everybody within that channel, those teams.
Perfect, spot on. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll keep sharing this information back out just to make it easy for you to find. And like I said, as we're playing around in the IWN Teams environment, yell out if there's any questions.
Yeah, I think if I could leave you all with one message is, don't be overawed by what the capability of this product. Just go and have a look. As long as you don't commit things like hit the delete button and then confirm the delete, you can look and then back out, look and then back out, and just move around and have a look and explore the environment. It's really quite a good working environment for people to be in.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Peter. And
no
worries, doubt there'll be more
questions. Thank you to everybody for
Yeah,
coming. I hope it was of use to you.
Great. Good on you.
Thanks,
See you
Peter.
later, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.